set. We are a long ways away from that for now. We are spotlighting these junglers as they make their priorities known. As Tien, through his full clear, is going right after Flounder on this top side. Does have the flash for the Gwen immediately. Match, the 5-point strike gets the knockup win, becomes lightning, and Tien is back, wrecking the early game, matching Tarzan and maybe outperforming him. As there's no response from the Volibear. This mid lane gank is going to fizzle out, and first blood goes to Tien.
Ask and I shall receive. I literally got done talking about how Tien was likely going to spend some time going to the top side and how Sion could actually be in a good kill pressure, even with a lot of assistance. Now Tarzan could potentially change that because the Volibear is quite strong. Yeah, spotted. So he's not going to be successful in terms of creating opportunities there, but Xiaohu should be relatively safe in the early game here. He is going to have to back. No teleport available, so see if he actually does it. Yeah, definitely didn't see that as the primary option, just going to catch the wave. But Dragon started here by AL. We've actually seen a significant lack in early Dragon priority, like pre-grub spawn, not only throughout this series, but throughout the LPL. So it's nice to see a team, finally say, screw it, we have Volibear, we can take this early.
I like Kyle's approach to this lane swap, though, as an answer. He recognizes, hey, listen, Ezreal, so safe. Hope has really got him in this position with Summoners up to ever be in threat for Breathe to kill him. And there's no reason for me to stay down here trying to get, a major push going. Kyle's trying to do what he might do best. One of the premier roaming supports of the LPL. He's just trying to get out on the map constantly. Saw the mid gank we talked about.
A problem for Weibo Gaming that they've consistently run into, and because of this, Tarzan can very freely start up these grubs, and it's going to be difficult for Weibo to make their way down as Light just hit level 6.
Shank's going to hijack that pressing guard. First grub going to find away by Tarzan. As we talked about, the bottom lane prowl comes across. Light has to catch this top wave, so Hope and Kyle can move on down, and Weibo have to be really mindful of how long they want to stay here. Second grub going to go down. Tarzan secures that feats a monster slaying. They use the heal to speed up Erha. Doesn't have the ultimate. They're going to force Stormbreaker out of Tarzan. He's in a 1v1 with Tien. Light can't get any damage down. Flash out from Shakes. Featherstorm comes down. Xiaohu very low, but still trying to hold on the front line. But his jungler falls. His AD carry flashes away, but Erha cannot escape Hope, who flies over the wall, nearly hits the Mystic Shot onto Xiaohu. An utter collapse around the Rift Herald pit here. Grubs, kills, everything. True shot barrages, feats of warfare. What is AL not gaining right now is they're wrecking the early game. One more kill into Light, and it's the perfect start for anyone's legend.
It's the perfect fight. I don't know what Weibo were thinking. They overextend. I think they must just forget that Shanks is making his way up from the mid lane. He finds a really nice flank angle, and at first it looks like it could potentially be turned onto the Sylas because he doesn't really have the survivability, but there is so much damage coming in from Hope. We highlighted the diff.
More disastrous than I could have imagined off of one Grub's play. This is a huge hole to get out of already for a team that needed to be somewhat competitive gold-wise once they got to that front-to-back style that they are hoping for with the Rise and the Xayah and the Tanky Sion.
Hey, gold down on the Ezreal, and it's not like Ezreal's going to do 0 damage in the late game. Like, that champion's still going to be a problem. We already see the Dragon stacking. Second Dragon at 11 minutes here for AL. We're going to get a chance to see what the Soul will be. It's going to be Ocean Soul as well for this team, and so everything kind of coming up golden right now for anyone's legend. But really the thing I'm going to be looking at is you have to start utilizing these Realm Orbs coming in from Xiaohu to try to get some gold back, try to find some picks somewhere on the map. With the Xin Zhao, this could be one of them, but Tarzan shadowing KL means no play to be had.
What a spot for Hope. A player that I personally, diagnosed certain parts of his play that I wanted to see kicked up for AL once they got to the playoffs. Biggest spot that I need to meet that mark is a Game 3 to go to the upper bracket finals to get to match point. He has got his Trinity Force at 12 minutes done on this Ezreal. Its damage is ludicrous by this point. It's all about hitting your skill shots and being a big bad carry.
Tien?
But we take the focus off of Hope right now. Tien might just get completely caught. Might was putting it a little bit lightly.
Shanks is definitely starting to come online now, and unfortunately, this is the part of the game where Rise is supposed to be strong. See if that exchange comes in. Rift Herald could be a fight here.
So here's the push and pull, right? They teleport both top laners over. Weibo made it a point to try and neutralize Rift Herald. Xiaohu's going to use that Realm Orb to just get back to his team, get over the top of Shanks, cut off that flank angle. So you set up the 5v5 line, you set up your front to back. But are Weibo strong enough at this point to try and fit their style? They're going to start by 50-50 this Rift Herald. Tien does win it. We have both mid laners going bull for bull, but the stolen Crescent Guard from Shanks provides so much value that Xiaohu goes down first. Breathe on the front line with the scissors is going to snip his way home through everybody. How much does your Herald cost you, Weibo? Because Hope is looking to clean house. Tien dies. Breathe is next to fall. Here comes the early game might of anyone's legends to the tune of a 16-minute 4-for-1. But it should darn be an ace as long as they get through this tanky Sion. They let him get back to base. So it's not an ace, but it's a reset.
Well, I say that. Tarzan's in the area.
Tarzan, does he want to go for it? No. Great entrance there from Airha. Make sure that Tarzan can't get close enough. Shanks, though, has the quickness stolen. How many people can he get close to? He finds Light of all members. Burns through that first health bar. Blasco going to save Xiao, who he still gets the route through. Does Hope want it? Can he get the arcane shift up in time? No. That kill will not be found. But it still costs Weibo mightily to stop the stacking. Still stalled out nonetheless. This game state that Weibo are desperately trying to slow down.
Absolutely unreal gameplay coming in from AL. They are pushing tempo over and over again. This is exactly what we talked about in the pre-show, where we talked about how AL are so good at flexing their early game strength into fast plays that never really stop, and about how Weibo, at their best, have been really good at slowing down the pace of the game. Right now, it's just not possible for them. AL have so much control, and really the only thing I can say for Weibo is that, yes, you could theoretically have some scaling. This game hasn't gotten fully out of control yet. You do stop the dragon scaling, but with Light being 0 and 3 and so far behind Hope in terms of gold, with the Rise not being anywhere near online, it's looking very, very scary for Weibo Gaming, and this was the fear. Bad early game, bad game overall.
Very few teams, if any, have ever come back against AL. And we talked about how they did split a lot of series against the rest of the top four. Top Esports kind of had AL's number in the early season after beating them to split one finals, but even then, right, Top, their wins were getting that lead ahead of AL and not letting them play comfortable. Even Top Esports might struggle to play back from a spot like this against AL. Xiaohu going for one of those realm warps to get a 4 versus 1 into Flandra. They get the charm, grand entrance knockup. Flandra, can he find a trade? Not this time, 1 versus 4. The needlework, though, buys him so much healing. Thankfully, Breathe is a takey. Sion! Oh my god, Xiaohu nearly went back down to that heated up turret, but here's the trade, K-Man. You sent 4 bot lane for 1 Gwen. Is the gold even worth it at the end of the day after this tier 2 falls?
Well, it's not just tier 2 mid, it's tier 2 top as well. Look at Shanks split pushing. This will eventually go down, or I imagine this will eventually go down with Tarzan on the top side, KL making his way up. And this is really not a good trade or game state, but what else is there? Weibo Gaming is to utilize those Realm Warps to try to find picks. That's exactly what you did. The problem is Flandra's not easily killable. It took them so long to take down the Gwen that it ended up creating a situation that wasn't even really favorable. So we get a replay here. Flandra does buffer the knockup there from Breathe. He clears the wave, but oh yeah, we are seeing some fighting.
We're brawling. Tarzan wants Tien's number. That's Crescent Guard already out of the Zins out, so all of Ezreal's damage pours through with a couple of W's and Q's like that. Tien's off the map, and what timing is that for AL? Otacon spawns just a couple of paces away from them on the top side, and that is a guarantee off 1 single kill.
Yeah, it's pretty easy for anyone's legend. Tien wants to, I don't know, try to exist in his own jungle. I think he should know by this point that that's probably not allowed to happen at this point in this game, and unfortunately getting picked off there, allowing that Otacon to go over, is just going to exacerbate the negatives that Weibo Gaming already had. It already looked very contentious for them to be able to win team fights, but with that new version of the Otacon that has the splash damage, it's just really difficult to imagine a world where the 5v5s are in their favor, even with the scaling right now.
I mean, we can look at the items across the board, and I really want to point them out by this juncture, because we were calling out some of those scalers, like item breakpoints they can make. It's like the observers are really keen that something's about to kick off here, nonetheless. They are depriving us of that scoreboard. Yeah, so Maramana, Ezreal, with Trinity Force done, this is the huge first jump, right? The Spirit Shojin will be coming third. That's the max cap of the 3 item. But we've got a confident book purchase here from Shanks. He has 12 stacks on that. The Riftmaker Nashers is the first big breakpoint for Gwen. The items are really coming through from that lead out of the early game that might make this game just unplayable for Weibo.
Yeah, and you're talking about all these third item breakpoints. Rise is sitting on Rod of Ages. This is a problem. This is not good for Weibo Gaming. It's not a good game state to be in. We see Weibo potentially trying to bait a fight. I'm not really sure why. They would get toasted if they ended up fighting right now, so would be very concerning. Flandra a little bit low health. Tien potentially making his way to the top.
Contested, but they recognize on the rest of the map there are bigger things to gain. A bot wave gets shoved in. I thought they were going to try and index into this dragon, but Weibo are forcing AL to match for once here, knowing that the threat of another tier 2 going down would be a big gold injection. So we've got all of the 4-stack Anyone's Legends in this topside jungle to cover Shanks, who is going to shut down the push onto this tier 2 turret. Do Weibo overstay their welcome here, getting desperate to try and fight their way back into this game? They've got Breathe. He's going to tank up the turret, but that turret is not low enough for you to try and take down all on your own. And AL are trying to sniff out a potential flank here. Flandra respawns without teleport, though. Everyone will settle back down and take the resets.
Yeah, it's really not as big of a gold lead as you would think, because it's actually a gold lead on the top side for Breathe, and Tien's up in gold as well onto Tarzan's Volley Bear. Some way, somehow, we are sitting in that world, but even still, like, it's a nice pick, it's a nice play, and Weibo ends up getting some pressure back because of it. It's not enough to completely change the game at all. AL's going to be able to pick up their third dragon here. This is Soul Point, and it's Ocean Soul, which would be a complete game over for Gwen Silas. That makes that team fight nearly impossible. Those champions will almost never die with the sheer amount of healing and survivability that both of them have. And so, while that third dragon might be going down, it's that fourth one that's really going to be the main priority. Minute 30 on to Baron. That's going to be the priority here for both of these teams. I really want to see Weibo get as much a vision priority as possible because they're not going to have the chance in 30 seconds.
They're still waiting on really big damage out of their carries. And look at Shanks on the flank. His patented Silas. How many charms can he get? Gets one on the light, forces out the Featherstorm. Tarzan does get brunted. He's just knocked up. CC lock. Tarzan goes down first. What do anyone's legends look like without the spirit, the superstar of their team? It's Shanks to come to rescue. Abscond duck forward. They try to get onto Flandra. The Realm Warp gets all of Weibo out. Just when they might have had a good fight, decent chance, but Hope too far up on the front line. Gets caught. The Realm Warp comes across. The root is down. The knockups are through. But Flandra is still standing tall next to Shanks. Shutdowns are coming across, but nobody can touch the Silas. Shanks is now the only one left in a 1 versus 2. Xiaohu will go down next. It's only the tanky Breathe. 2 solo lanes, 2 sides of opposite coins, going blow for blow. But Shanks just keeps on churning, burning, pushing the damage out. Can he break through Breathe's shield? It's taking so much. He's just spamming away at his keys, but Breathe walks out of all of it.
What a fight for AL. What a fight for Shanks. What a fight for Weibo Gaming. I mean, that's just, there's cinema all over the map in terms of how that ended up going. It actually was a really great fight from Weibo. They do a great job locking down Tarzan at the beginning. The Volley Bear is completely non-existent. We talked about this being an early quite a bit, but people forget Hope has made the World's semifinals before. The semifinals of the World Championships on JD Gaming, quite a few years ago. And so this is a player that has had some experience, but he's always kind of been considered, I don't want to say the weak link, but certainly the less proven members of his, successful teams. This is his chance to really step up. We need to see him make the most of it in these fights as Baron has started and the teleports are coming in.
And it's like Tarzan wants Weibo to come into them, wants that next fight here. As you called out, everybody TP's in that wasn't near this Baron pit. We redraw those similar fighting lines. Baron getting an MVP award for damage in Weibo's name. Chunks down multiple members of AL who don't have access to that Ocean Soul just yet. But again, AL's wave states are much better. Their minions alone
Shanks
get a top lane tier 2 turret, and Shanks is trying to set up a huge flank once more. The Crescent Guard hijack has been the most pivotal for him. Flandra gets stormed up on the one side, goes into stasis, and Shanks jumps on top of Xiaohu. He has the Crescent Guard, but hits the Abscond Duck on top of Light, forces out the Featherstorm. Can he find the kill? Light one out from death, and Shanks sends him there with a postcard from this mid lane fight. Only the Realm Warp to save Weibo from utter catastrophe. But that means that all burners turn on to Breathe. Finally, the tank Scion is down. Baron's up, and in 15 seconds, Ocean Soul is AL's to gain.
Oh, I know that you can look at the score lines and see that Hope and that Flandra and, Tarzan and KL have had great games. Shanks is flexing.
Threats is how much you can get out of Shanks and Hope from a game-to-game basis. You called out how this is his patent champion, and this is how oppressive AL looks when one of those two names I mentioned are playing at a high pedigree.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm just happy that we're in a game state where I can praise these guys. I spent so much of games 1 and 2, being negative about the place that were happening, but now you can just look at AL.
Oh, Xiaohu, once again, frontlining a little too far.
This teleport.
Does survive, and luckily Breathes the tank with the stop onslaught, so he does commit the ult to get out. Xiaohu does not have TP to come back to this fight, so AL, they could turn towards the Baron. They're trying to set up to punish Light and Erha. At the very least, they can control this mid wave, and now they'll turn their attention to Baron. Xiaohu's having to run all the way back over here. You can see how dark this river is. AL have complete control. Weibo have to very cautiously walk their way in. But how quick is this Baron take going without Hope hitting it? Flandra's doing a ton of damage. They finally get a shot of Baron. It's at half health as Erha gets chunked out by one combo from Hope. True Shot Braz comes across as well. Weibo, when do they go in? Because Shanks has found another master flank again. Has the Crescent Guard stolen. There is the Stormbringer through for Tarzan. He gets brunted and stunned up though once again. Doesn't matter. He sets up Shanks to run amok with the front line versus Tien. Next is Xiaohu. Shanks is setting up for a masterclass. It's absolute cinema, and the victors are anyone's legend. 5 for 1. Ace home thanks to their superstar Silas.
Oh my goodness, it's play after play after play for Shanks on this Silas. You just cannot contain the ability. They push down the top turret here. 20-second death timers on everybody. That's going to be game that Shanks ended up calling. The Baron dance does not go the way of Weibo, and AL will be walking their way to a 2-1 series lead.
And it's on the back of one of those less proven players. It's not Flandra, not Tarzan. It is Shanks. The man you're getting on your screen. I don't care. We're going to have discussions now. Throw player of the game up. I don't need time.